Hello and welcome to AskLRR, the show where you ask your questions to LRR. In this case, LRR being Wheeler, Cori, and myself this month. But thank you so much for joining us. As always, this podcast is brought to you, by asking your questions at our YouTube memberships. We really appreciate everyone who supports us on YouTube, and of course, by everyone who supports us over at Patreon at patreon.com. Are you two ready to answer questions?
Yes.
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 Good. Okay, Paul's already showing the questions. I didn't even have to ask him. Our first question comes from Crab Goddess, and they say, Kathleen, I love your GM style, and I'm looking forward to seeing the second Ravnican Sausage Party. If you were to create a single-player tabletop RPG game for your co-hosts, how do you think that would look? Cori and Wheeler, what is a setting you would like to experience? Okay, I thought about this game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for you, I would do like one of those like super light one-pagers that you could do with a random set of friends, and it has like 6 rules and you can just be ridiculous. And you would be a group of goblins and you would roll on a table what goblin ancestral home you would be defending. Mm-hmm. It's like kind of thing like a VW wagon on blocks at the back of a farmer's field is like kind of the deal. And then what you're defending it from, you know, and then you find ways to sabotage and mayhem.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Is that something you'd like?
Yeah. Just hit me up.
Okay, great. Wheeler, I thought that you would like some sort of like, I was like, how can I make a Souls-like into a tabletop RPG experience? Mm-hmm. And I was thinking basically it's like a roguelite mm-hmm. where everything you do, you just have to, you get some simple rules, and then every encounter and the prizes for which are rolled on a table, but the prizes you can take with you. So if you die, you just roll up another character. So it'd take me months to prepare like 100 count encounter table and item table that was all relevant and cross-referenced. But I think you'd enjoy it once I got there.
I have a request for room size versus boss size.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
So you can have just a very large boss in a tiny room, because those are so much fun.
Yes. That's not really a Souls-like. It's more of a roguelite, but I feel like you could get better at it.
I do like the idea of playing in a TTRPG where there are enemies that are just named like Bone Wizard and like Skeleton Lord. Like that's a part of like old school D&D that is really appealing to me, even before I played a single campaign of anything. It's just, so yeah. I mean, that and like if I could die, I like the consequences.
Oh, yeah. You'd have to die all the time.
Great.
So, but you get to keep the items you find. So hopefully you eventually get your way through the 100 count table.
Yeah, eventually.
Maybe the monsters respawn when you die, because that's more like a roguelike.
Yeah, I gotta imagine.
Yeah,
Maybe.
You need the experience.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually you start with a whole horde of magical weapons and stuff like that.
And then it's kind of satisfying to be like, hey, I died to you 2 times.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to 1-shot you or 2-shot you and then move on.
Yeah.
You know?
We have a lot of books here that people have sent us. So sometimes when, other stuff's going on, I'll like browse the shelves, and a lot of those look cool. But if we're just picking a setting, then maybe like Stargate Universe would be really fun. Like on a siege ship that has a route that you're unsure about. You go to different planets. You try to fix the ship. That'd be fun.
Sort of the opposite of the sort of goblin chaos thing.
Goblins could have a spaceship.
That's true. They could be space goblins.
Ooh.
All right. That was a fun question. Next question. As music nerds, says Crab Goddess, what is an album you listened to last year that did not have to be released last year that you enjoyed? Do you think your co-casters would also enjoy this album? Cori, do you have any go-to albums that you listened to last year but are not from the last year necessarily?
I have like a couple, which is more than the question asked for, but I last year started listening to the Ting Tings We Started Nothing, which, everyone would like. And then there's Ellery Ward's Perfect Little Death, which is like acoustic guitar Sondheim covers. And I don't know if either of you like musicals at all. But like there's some stuff in there that's from like Sweeney Todd, which isn't my favorite, but it sounds really cool. I want like a gender swapped Sweeney Todd now.
I do like musicals. Hadestown was going to be one of my
Oh,
answers to this. Yeah. That ruled. I saw it in Vancouver, and I've been listening to the album ever since. It's great. That isn't my answer, but
do you have an answer?
yeah. This sounds more pretentious than I want it to be because I don't remember when I listened to these albums, and so it's hard to really nail it down. But I remember watching the movie Licorice Pizza, and then a song came on in the background, and I'm like, I've heard this before.
Right.
And it was off an album by the Chico Hamilton Quintet featuring Buddy Collette. It's like a jazz album from the 50s, and it has like Egyptian jazz vibes to it, and it rules.
All right.
It's like the perfect put it on in the background, get stuff done, or like walking through a crowd with it on music, and it's killer.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
I want that.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I'll
send
send
it
it
to
to
me.
you.
Please.
It's really good.
Put
really
it in our
good.
Slack.
Ooh.
Yeah. Slack it too.
Official work messages.
Well, kind of.
Hey,
Came up with a podcast.
thank you for getting back to me. This song rules.
Yeah.
Listen to this.
Here's the new gossip. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba.
They are doing a comeback. The Gossip. They're at like whatever that festival is that plays like all the 90s rock.
There's a festival that Gossip's playing at that I
Yeah.
saw the listing for. It's like Death Cab,
Yeah,
Postal
yeah,
Service,
that's it.
the Go Team, and I'm like,
Are you in your late 30s or early 40s?
I feel like that I have a certain like unknowableness about me, and yet they just like laser targeted.
Is this like, it's not the We Were Young or
No,
No.
that's not like the emo
that's
revival
the
festival.
pop punk emo one. This is more like
That's the one Crim's at.
Yes, this is the sad, like
Yeah,
depressing.
when we were sad.
Yeah, like early 2000s, like mid 2000s sadness.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Peak University Kathleen being very angsty.
Yep.
Oh, I love it. I mean, I don't. I was very sad.
It's nice to remember though some
Yeah.
things.
It's kind of nice to listen to stuff when you're like, wow, I was sad and pathetic, and listening to this and enjoying it. And I can listen back to it and be like, this is still pretty good.
It's like, yeah, the
Even though
district
I'm-
does sleep alone tonight. Amazing.
Let's see. I already told you about the album I think that you'd like. I think I told you to listen to Scaring the Hose by
Yes.
JPEG Mafia
That
and
was
Danny Brown.
that was on my list.
It's a good album. I'm just like flipping through for something that I listened to last year that you might like, Cori, that you don't already know about. That's the real hard part. I feel like there's somebody, her name is Genevieve Artadi. Artadi, I don't know how to say her last name.
Unfamiliar.
She works with Lewis Cole.
Okay, love him.
I believe together they are Knower.
Oh, I love Knower.
So she put out a solo album last year.
Yeah, I
Yes.
see hot girls like chords and
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm the president. But yeah, so she put out a solo album last year. And if you like Lewis Cole and you like Knower, maybe you like her incredibly weird solo stuff.
all right.
All right, ding.
Is the festival Just Like Heaven
Just like
2024?
heaven. Yes, thank you.
Who else is in there?
Yeah, read the whole list if you
Can we get some dismemberment plan, maybe?
I mean, it's a big list.
Okay.
Just read us the top four lines.
It's called Just Like Heaven.
Yeah.
I saw a post on Stereo Gum. By the way, Stereo Gum's a good publication and you should support them. They're reader supportive.
Just Like Heaven
right.
Festival. Oh, it's 2024.
yeah.
Where is it?
A club called
The LA?
Rhonda, Always, Be Your Own Pet, Broken Social Scene,
Broken social scene.
Chris Cruz, CSS, Death Cab for Cutie, Gossip, Metric, Mike Snow, Passion Pit.
Passion Pit. Fantagram.
I've seen CSS live, you know. I think they're opening for some other
Ooh,
band.
Sleigh Bells.
Oh,
Tegan,
okay.
Tegan and Sarah.
Yeah.
Postal Service. War on
2006 to
Drugs.
2010 wants its music back.
Two Door Cinema Club.
Yep.
Washed out.
More paint.
And more
paint.
paint?
Yeah, more
And
paint.
washed out.
Okay, this actually sounds pretty
Right?
legit. Yeah.
I've been demographicked.
Yeah. Okay. You got me. You pegged me. All right.
This podcast is not an advertisement for Just Like Heaven.
But if Just Like Heaven Fest wants to send 3 tickets to 3 clearly highly popular influencers, Wheeler and I will go there. Cori will go there. John says, hold up. Wheeler and I will go there. We'll pretend to be pleasant people and enjoy ourselves. Cori will legitimately just have a good time.
I'll be like, Molly Rankin, can you sign my cassette tapes?
I would be too cool in the back corner, yes. No, I just don't like to touch people, so I like to see music, but I don't want to dance or be close to anyone.
Going up and shaking the hands of the guys from Passion Pit, being like, I did so many drugs to that one song of yours.
That's everybody in line.
Yeah. It's just a whole queue.
All right. If you were no longer Cori, Ben, or Kathleen, and you had to pick new names for the other two, what names would you give each other? Who's got some names prepared?
I don't, but this is a great opportunity to share. This is legitimately what I was about to be named.
Your legit
My
name?
dad had a name picked
Just
out.
like pen was above the birth certificate.
My mom, like literally hours before delivering.
Yep.
The nurse convinced my mom, like, no,
No.
Don't do it.
this. And,
Wow.
and my dad relented. If either of you can get this, I will give you $1,000.
Okay,
like
now-
it is.
Is it like an old name?
No,
Or a young name.
Okay, so it was cool in the
no,
early 90s?
yes,
Okay.
91.
Okay, so
Put
this
your
was
guesses in the
a
comments
trendy
now.
1991 name.
It wasn't trendy.
Garth.
This is going to blindside each and every one of you.
Quinton.
No, I'll give you a hint. It's a name of a city.
Vancouver? That's weird.
No.
That's so weird.
And not the city Ben Wheeler in Texas.
Or like Prince George or
No.
something like that. Okay, it's the name of a city.
It's the name of a city. An American city. I'll even give you that.
Boston. That's so brave.
Could you imagine me as a Boston? I mean,
Boston Wheeler. What an odd name. Phoenix.
No,
Okay, I don't know.
it was Detroit.
Detroit, they're gonna name
Yeah, Detroit Wheeler. Yeah,
Is that setting you up for success?
I don't know. Probably
very
not.
odd.
Sets me up for dilapidation. And
Do you feel like a Detroit?
I gotta tell you, if I was named Detroit in the era in which we were talking about the bands from We're in Heaven, I would have been very cool until around 2013, and then maybe it would have been less cool. Yeah.
Good question, the Dave 413.
Oh yes.
The bit that I thought of for this was just like, okay, Kathleen, you're 4, Wheeler, you're 2, I get to be 1, and then people think we outnumber them. They'll always be like, where's number 3?
Right.
Like the pig thing.
I like that. Let's see. Wheeler, you are dry and intellectual, sort of bent.
To be clear, I am well moisturized. though.
Yeah, but like your sense
could
of
use
humor
more,
is
you
dry.
know?
Yeah.
So if I was going to name a character that was kind of like, helpful but not that helpful, I feel like you'd be let's see. I have a whole list of good names that are actual like words that are just underused, and I'm desperately struggling to think of any of them. But you'd end up with names like, malfeasance or something, which kind of sounds like an old
Malfeasance Wheeler?
well, no, because to me that's a girl's name.
Malfeasance?
Malfeasance, but I don't
That's a
think
witch hunter name.
I don't think Cori's a malfeasance. I don't know. Something you'd have your names would be two words that would reflect your personalities, but wouldn't be traditional wouldn't be traditional names. They'd be words, even if obscure ones, that would be repurposed for human names.
Yeah, it'd be weird if someone was named after a thing that wasn't usually a human name, and then
You mean like a city?
yeah,
In
like a
Michigan?
city.
Michigan Wheeler might actually be fine.
Michigan Wheeler.
I
You
feel
sound like a transport company.
yeah. It this is a tough one because I feel like giving other people names is really tough.
Yeah.
Unless it's like a nickname or it's spontaneous or whatever. I think Cori, your name is just like perfect.
Thank you.
It's just like oh yeah, you got it in one. Easy.
Yeah.
Easy money. And Kathleen, I'm trying to Kathleen's also a pretty good name. Like any possible name that I have, I am now nervous to say out loud for how stupid they
No,
might
go
sound.
ahead.
The first name that came to mind just was Fern.
Oh,
Ooh.
I could deal with that.
It's not a bad name.
No, I think it's a nice name. I always feel that my name's a bit flowery for my presentation, but I've always hated like Kate or Kathy, which was like the other ways, because there's too many other people named Kate, and Kathy is like very not me.
Yeah.
So I was like, look, if those are my options, I will just take my full actual name.
As a Benjamin, I understand.
I will say, if I had been a boy, and this was, this would have happened, my name would have been Richard. So I would have been Dick DeVere.
That's so good.
That's so bad.
I think Dick is underutilized.
I think it's been somewhat poisoned a little bit.
I think it's time to embrace it.
Embrace Dick.
We need to start to embrace the naming and terminology used in that era that is just comically horny or somewhat inappropriate. Call more people Dick, or calling someone a boner as like
Pulling a boner.
pulling a boner. That's what it is. Thank you.
That's what you want to do.
Yeah. Big fan of that.
Next question.
Next one.
Paige Duchance
Duchesne.
says, my husband wants to know, does LRR have a set of 4 Nord Galaxy Grey chairs from Article, i.e. the ones used when filming the guest portion of the LRRcast retrospective? He's very excited that he recognized them. If so, more generally, how do you go about picking new furniture for your sets? Congratulations! I started this one because I wanted to say, your husband is correct. Those are 4 chairs from Article, and honestly, for the amount of like being moved and lifted and stacked and shoved and dragged they are solid and good pieces of furniture. So at least the ones that we got many years ago at this point. So highly recommend Article Furniture. By the way, if you want to sponsor any influencers Article, we're right here.
I like
But I already have an Article couch.
We have multiple Article
No,
furnitures.
I have one.
You have one.
Yes, we got that when we moved here.
Honestly, they're not bad pieces of furniture. How do we go about picking new furniture for our sets? We try to find something that's like not too like expensive, but also has like a clean contemporary line. We went with gray, even though it was like not my first choice, but for like it can be an unflattering color in a lot of skin tones, but gray does hide dirt. So if it gets like, discolored from like people moving it and stuff like that, it's not going to immediately show up, and it's like a neutral, which is nice. And yeah, just stuff that's like not like the cheap furniture you get at like your big box stores, because that stuff does not last.
Some stuff like these tables we've got commissioned. Other stuff is just like IKEA.
This is like something that James built. It's like a tabletop we ordered on like some 2x4s that he nailed together.
Wow.
Yeah.
Those are screws
Oh, okay. Some 2x4s that he screwed together.
with square head. Correct.
Correct. But yeah, we pick furniture that is going to hold together well, because it is heavily abused around here.
Yes.
Before we got all the Article furniture, we've broken so many couches. Even
Yep.
the couches we got new. Like, we broke a lot of old couches that we didn't pay any money for, which is kind of to be expected because they're on the end of life when we got them. But, like, we also broke a couple of new ones.
That's impressive.
It's a hard life here for furniture at the LoadingReadyRun moon base.
It's tough.
Next question. Granny Sohail says, with the reigning in of the new year, what's been one thing or activity you want to strive to improve, be it health, work, social, or something you have just been meaning to do but haven't had the chance? Any New Year's resolutions?
I'm not a resolution kind of guy. I'm more of a like, well, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. Not really pushed by a calendar date or having a soft reset or whatever. I don't know. Work less? Try to enjoy not working more. That's
Yes.
what I mean. Not necessarily work less. I'm like a border collie. If I don't work, if I'm not doing working,
just like,
I get
"Grr."
antsy. I start to like scratch at the door. Like I hate it. I absolutely hate it. But, you still need to not work at some amount of time. And so this sounds really funny, but part of me is genuinely proud. I've been watching more television. Yeah, I've actually just been not doing a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been taking evenings to do that because Graham likes watching TV. Like he likes watching shows and movies, and I do not. But I also like spending time with my husband. So
Yeah.
we've been making time to watch things together, which is usually like panel shows or stuff like that.
Yeah. My husband and I have been watching a lot of wrestling together. And now I'm into wrestling. I was into wrestling as he likes this, and I want to know what he is getting excited about. And so I'll just sit on the couch and be like, oh, that guy got flipped or whatever.
It's like you're like me several years ago going, hey, that's Ted Jericho.
Well, yeah.
I'm going Chris Jericho.
Now I've watched it enough where I have wrestlers I like, and either new or old, and I'm in the thick of it now. There's no going back, which is kind of nice. Yeah.
Cori, resolutions?
The big thing I wanted to do at the start of the year was just do like a deep clean of the house and deal with some storage stuff that I haven't moved. Like I've got like Rubbermaid containers in the bedroom stacked up, and just like a pile of clothes that was supposed to go to like Value Village, and they weren't accepting clothes during the pandemic. So it's just there.
I have a similar Rubbermaid tub that is full of things like, these are socks with holes in them. These are old pairs of underwear that probably want to go to fabric recycling, realistically. And it's just
Theoretically,
there.
something could be done.
Theoretically, these could be darned, or like you could use them for like scrap or like rags, but I don't want to use old underwear for rags. I just want to drop them off to be recycled. So deep cleaning. My New Year's resolution is the same as it always is, which is 10/20. Ta-da-cha. Moving on, next question.
Oh, vision.
Could you describe each other as an ingredients list, says Andrew Hunt. Who started this one? I feel like I did it a moment of chaos. It was
Not
definitely
I.
This I believe you
This is-
check this off.
Yeah, this seems like my
What's
dirty
your
work.
answer?
All right, Cori, you obviously the bulk of it is coriander.
That's really
Yeah.
did water,
Nine-
carbon.
Yeah, and coriander. Just I don't know. What kind of food do you like better, sweet or salty?
Salty.
Salty. So we'll say potato chips,
Okay.
gummy worms. No?
Okay. All right.
No?
Potato chips
Yes?
and gummy worms. Yeah. Those.
Yes, no?
Those can be together.
I mean, this is like snack. I feel like you're a snacky food. You're like a charcuterie board of just delicious
Girl
foods.
dinner.
A Vietnamese sweet quick pickle.
Love pickles.
Oh, all right. Coriander and pickles. Wheeler, are you a sweet or a savory person?
I'm a savory guy.
Okay, you're a savory guy.
Yeah.
What about some good aged cheese?
I'm not a huge cheese guy.
Neither am I.
Yeah.
I want to like. I think I like cheese more than I do because we buy cheese and then nobody ever eats it. So I stop buying it.
I will eat it,
Okay.
but I will, and I like it, but I'm not. The idea of people that regularly keep cheese in their house,
Just for eating like
baffling.
big fucking slices of
How
insanity.
you go through a brick of that a week or like every 2 weeks? No, God, your poor guts.
I can't just have a slice of cheese as a food.
Yeah,
What about crudité?
I do enjoy vegetables, and yeah, I like to pick. I'm not a big meal guy. I like if I could I eat like a squirrel.
Okay.
But like that squirrel Pokemon that has eaten too much, Greedent. Yeah,
Squavit ingredient.
yeah. I'm that. That's me. Just like constantly like, ooh. Oh.
So like some salted nuts of some kind, some crudité.
Dried berries.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I like pickles, fruit, charcuterie,
Trail mix.
trail mix.
Perfect. Okay,
Yeah.
that's them. Um,
Piss, vinegar.
yeah.
Some sort of squash.
Spite. Anxiety. Yeah, done.
Spaghetti squash noodles with some spite. And some,
And some Parmesan cheese grated on top.
I'm going to put a little anxiety on this. Just tell me when.
Oh, keep going.
Keep going.
Keep going.
I would, but about 2 cranks in, I realized I was just doing this.
Yeah.
And
I thought you said you wanted to be pulling on boners again.
yeah,
Like
well,
an invisible snake bite happening
Yeah.
over here.
yeah, milk. Oh no, that's sorry.
Milk?
Well, milking the snake, not
They get
the
to get
sexual
their
thing.
teeth
It's
in
just
the-
yeah, you put the teeth on the thing, and that's
Yeah.
how you pull the.
You took all the snake boobs off magic cards.
And it's a damn shame.
Oh my god. Recently I saw on YouTube some spider sex, and it's amazing. They have like these little inflatable things on their leggies.
Oh,
Yeah, they puff up like a balloon. It's wild.
so they have an inflation thing.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's where that comes from.
wow, incredible.
The first person who had that fetish back in the 1500s saw a spider and went,
That's what I'm talking about,
finally,
honey. You got to get a load of this.
someone doth understand me. Me spelled with 2 E's, as was the custom at the time. Moving on, next question.
Me and Hoomst.
Thanks, H-Bomb and friends, for asking what was the last thing somebody recommended to you that was absolutely spot on.
Watching spiders.
I'll send you the video. In my case specifically, I think I started this. People have been sending me horse jokey things.
Go on.
It started on Twitter, and now I'm kind of more on Instagram, and some of them are just amazing. It's so good. I get to see horrible cursed art all the time. I'm so happy.
All right, cursed art. What have people recommended to you that you liked?
People don't recommend me anything. Well, they do, but I don't listen a lot. I mean, if I had to pick, Cobalt Core. It's a video game. It's like a roguelite, but it's in card game, but it's in space, and it's very cute, and the dialogue is charming, and it's incredible gameplay. And it was the first time that somebody's recommended a game, and I've played it, and I'm like, this is just all I want to do. I just want to keep playing this game instead of
It's
like
been on my radar. I've been
it's
thinking
so,
about it.
It's so good, and it's on the Switch too. So if you like have a Switch and want to play it portable or whatever, it's like I'm going to be playing that on every airplane ride.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's high praise. I get a lot of music suggestions, so I'm just trying to see out of the past year things that were well received upon being recommended to me. Was this whole collection, this whole group called Orchestra Baobab, and who have like a bunch of like albums from like theirs in the 70s. Those were really good. Let's see what else. Really like that. For some reason I came across the music of Charles Mingus and was like, this rules. I don't know. Just recommend obscure or not so obscure jazz albums to me from the 1970s, because
Can do.
I wasn't around in the 1970s, so
I mean, do you ever listen to Art Blakey?
no.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah. That's what I liked. Next question. Oh. What would be your one weird fact about yourself if you're introduced as a contestant on Only Connect? Has everyone here seen Only Connect, or am I the only one?
I believe so. In fleeting.
I've thought about this a lot because they do the same thing kind of on Jeopardy, especially if you're a recurring guest. You have to like keep digging up new interesting facts, and I just don't have anything.
Well, I mean, the Only Connect ones are the kind of like, this person once burped in front of the Queen or something like that. Like they're very they're usually kind of jokey on Only Connect.
I have a couple that won't get me in legal trouble that I could probably pitch, but I have some that might get me in legal trouble that I should tell you two off camera because I think you'd find it very funny.
Excellent.
I went go-karting with Chad Kruger.
That's an excellent Only Connect fact.
Yeah.
We could be an Only Connect team. There's three of us right now.
He made fun of my jeans. He said they were too baggy. He liked he said kid was cool, but he's got to get less baggy jeans. This was in like 2005.
Okay. I got selected to play on the Oregon State All-Star softball team, and I never got to play because a bunch of the other members weren't available.
What? Oregon State?
Oregon State All-Stars.
Whoa.
You were almost an Oregon State All-Star softball player.
I played for the Cubs, but...
You played for the Chicago Cubs?
In Oregon, as a girl, playing softball.
Whoa. That's incredible.
Our rivals were the Orioles, and they all put braids in their hair with the colors of their team.
That's very hardcore. I'm going to say my Only Connect fact is when in high school I published a zine calling for the overthrow of my school's administration.
Classic.
Sick.
Nobody obviously took it seriously, but it was, I put a lot of work into it.
Macklemore once drank my beer without asking.
That's
So
a very
Macklemore.
good. That's a good fact.
Yeah.
I have been to so many concerts. I don't remember how many. He's been to too many concerts to remember them all. Is probably
What
how
a wild fact.
VCM would say.
Yeah. A lot of them just might get me in trouble. I don't...
Just tell us after we've done recording.
Yeah, I'll tell you
Yeah.
after. I'll tell you after.
All right, next question. Daniel Solis says, where do your preferences lie between physical book, audiobook, and ebook? How do you prefer to ingest books?
Ebook.
Read, enjoyment, physical in front of me. Reference material, ebook, PDF on computer.
I used to be a big physical book guy, and occasionally I still am. It depends on... If I'm rereading something, I like to go back to the physical book. But I've been turned on to audiobooks recently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love physical books. I love book smell. I do buy some physical books, but I don't want to just have stacks of books in my house like I did growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And I read a lot. It's like 3 to 4 books a week sometimes. Whoa. So just like the volume, it's easier to just like hook up to Kindle Unlimited and just grab stuff.
Graham's cousin James, who we went and visited, is a big fan of Kindle, but he has thousands of books and he has a huge collection of science fiction books, including a bunch that are like completely out of print. So he gave me an old e-reader filled with like cool out of print science fiction books from the 1970s.
Sick.
Yeah, James rules. He's like 80 and just like guillotine the Tories. Not exactly, but I was like, this guy's so woke. Yeah. I love him. That sounds sarcasm.
Comic books are not as good in digital. Never as good.
No. But yeah, I like the physical.
I like manga. Digital. I've barely read any physical manga. Just because you can't get it over here if it's not licensed. But I agree with the comics and stuff. It's just, not the same.
Next question. Creativity burnout. What do you do to avoid falling into it? Or if you fall into it, what do you do to get out of it and get your creativity flowing again? I mean, I don't think it's possible to realize you're burning out until you've actively burnt out. Because you just feel tired, I think. So it's like all of a sudden you're like, hell, I'm just super burned out.
Is a building frustration because a lot of the time it's like you don't have any agency, but you have a lot of responsibility. And that just kind of builds until you break.
Mm-hmm.
It's just too much stuff. And then you just go to do something and it's like, I've got no energy. I've got no ideas. I've got nothing in the tank. And what I find works well for that is kind of just sort of forcing yourself to do it anyhow after you give yourself a break. But like the thing is, if your brain's sort of gone to the thing where it's like, I'm too burned out and I quit. You're not going to wake up one day and be like, well, I'm not burned out anymore. No. It's like kind of like a slow slide into burnout, and then it's going to be a slow slide back out. It's not like a binary situation where you are or are not burned out.
I think my secret is I'm always burnt out. Mm-hmm. I'm just always exhausted, but for other reasons. as well.
I don't think it was a terribly big secret that after the incredible punch of pandemic into husband cancer, into dad financial issues, into breaking my ankle, when people were like, "What's up, Kathleen?" I was like, for like 6 months,
Right.
and wasn't funny particularly, had no good ideas, and was just very tired.
So I
It's
guess recognizing signs of stress in yourself and not putting yourself in bad situations if you can help it.
Yeah.
If you've got block instead of just burnout, like to get your creativity flowing again, then yeah, chill, relax, absorb other media.
Take a break.
And try again.
Find yourself a really nice bong, or long walks on the beach.
And
There,
conversations with friends.
yeah. Just
Go to a
like,
dinner party or something.
I don't know, do something else,
Yeah.
even for a short amount of bit. Like the cost of spending like an hour not doing something is so low in the grand scheme of things, relative to, I guess, the benefit that you would take from spending an hour like not staring at a computer screen or working on a project, or just spend an hour doing something you enjoy, like really enjoy, just like no questions asked, and that'll be a pretty good refresher.
Yeah. Well, and also, like, if you're like, look, I'm super burned out and I don't want to do this, and like I can't even, but you have to, you could talk to a friend and ask them to help you like break it down into steps if you don't even want to do that. Because sometimes just like, all right, what's the bare minimum I have to do for this? You
Yep.
just do it and you're done, and sort of just slowly work your way through it as gently as possible. But even if that is too much, you can ask somebody who you care about to help you like come up with a plan to help you stick to it.
Or quit. Hit the bricks.
I mean, you could, sometimes it's better to quit, but if you need like it, you need to come back to doing things. But yeah, be gentle. Next question. Hey, pizza draft, says Daniel Solis. Each of you takes turns claiming a pizza topping. Boy, this is long. And no one else can pick it for their pizza. If you want to get formal about it, let's go 3 rounds so you each get 3 toppings and each person gets a chance to pick first. Round 1, Cori, Ben, and Kathleen. And I'm going to assume that cheese and sauce are a given. But you can specify what cheese.
Mozzarella
Cheese. So mozzarella cheese.
like the rounds.
Oh, like the little like
The
actual
slices, like a chunk.
little,
Like if you get
balls
like
of
a
bucatini,
Carpese,
right?
not a full ball, like a slice.
But yeah, okay. So mozzarella traditional style,
Yeah.
not the shredded Kraft stuff. Benjamin Wheeler.
Do I have to pick the cheese? Wait,
No,
hold on.
I was assuming that cheese would just be a given, that you could just have whatever cheese you want.
I think we should do cheese and sauce as a freebie.
Yeah, I think so too.
So I have to pick another one
Yeah.
in addition to the.
Yeah.
All right. Basil.
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 Okay.
First pick basil.
Yeah.
Okay. Onion.
Anchovy.
White or red?
White.
Okay.
All right, round 2. Ben, Kathleen, Cori. So I've picked anchovy. You've picked white onion, and you've picked basil.
Sausage.
Like a spicy Italian?
Like a spicy Italian sausage.
Roasted squash.
Pizza's good.
You didn't want to save that for round 3?
No.
Freaking
I wanted to make sure I could have it and no one else.
pineapple.
Pineapple. All right, round 3. Kathleen, Cori, Ben. So I have anchovy and roasted squash. I mean, that sounds kind of good. Spicy honey.
That's a good one.
I think this would be a delicious pizza.
Shrimp.
We are so good at this. Like, none of us we're not stepping on anybody's toes. We could team money draft this. Like, if it was us 3 against any other 3 people in the office,
Oh yeah.
we would get
I would
eat
get
the
our
exact
pizza and not their pizza.
Yeah. Black olive.
See,
I
that
was
would...
wondering about that. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so your pizza is going to have...
hot Italian sausage, onion, and black olive.
That's a good pizza. And your pizza is going to have
I have no memory of this.
shrimp, basil, and pineapple.
Wait.
And of course, mine is anchovies, roasted squash, and chili honey.
You know you have to eat it, right? Would you genuinely eat And I'm not saying this as a rundown of you as a person or your tastes, but would you genuinely eat a pizza with shrimp, pineapple, and like basil, like big
I
rips of
have.
basil? That's your jam?
It's not an everyday thing because like I want a specific pizza. Like this is memories of a pizza I love
Okay.
from the Chicago deep dish pizza place in Edmonton. It doesn't have basil on it, but it's got
Had
like
shrimp and pineapple in it?
yeah,
In deep dish?
with like salami.
This is
and
chaotic.
It's
Salami.
it's so good. It's also got olives in it.
It's intense. I mean,
I gotta respect game when I see it. I mean, that's a lot.
I do like the deluxe pizza, the one that has like the salami and the black olives and the green peppers and the onions. That pizza I think is underrated.
It's really good for a standard, like you know what you're getting. Yeah.
The onions and the onions add a little bit of bite. The olives add a little bit of salt. It's very meaty, you know.
Some of my favorite pizzas have had like curry on them.
Oh, like the tandoori chicken pizza and
Like
stuff.
like a tandoori or even just like a masala.
I feel like this is a question that is pretty easy to like build around. Like I'm thinking of this through the lens of a Magic player that is trying to run the pockets of 3 other nerds, right? With a team. And I feel like this is something where it is relatively easy to get, like, I guess people are jumping on like pepperoni or whatever.
Always.
But even then, like, yeah, I'm not pick one, so maybe I'm not getting pepperoni. Just got to pick a different protein if you want that.
Well then.
Yeah. I'll pizza money draft anybody.
All right. You know, I feel like this is definitely maybe not what we had in mind when we started the AskLRR podcast in this form of like, hey, how can you like maximize the hypothetical money from this hypothetical pizza money draft?
Yeah, that might be
You sure?
that's a
You
me,
sure we didn't think of that?
that's a me issue.
Yeah. Well, regardless, I do have a bit of news for everyone. We've decided to wind AskLRR down because we want to make a little bit more room in the schedule for new and existing projects. And we feel that we have maybe come to the end of all the questions, the normal sort of reasonable questions that we get asked. Although I do think pizza money draft, and if you were a set of ingredients,
Next
would you
live.
Yeah.
Coming up.
yeah, are good and they are amusing. But we also, we're going to do one last one next month it'll be some sort of extravaganza because James has already been sending lots of like Slack posts. And so look forward to that being fun and exciting. And I do want to mention that YouTube memberships are still a thing on our main channel if that's how you wish to support us monetarily. And we do appreciate that. And we do want to continue getting money there from you if that's where you want to give it to us.
Please, just give it to us.
I mean, or at Patreon or anywhere else, but you know, or just watch and share and look at these 3 people almost incriminate themselves legally while talking about these things that
Yeah.
they've done. Good old Detroit Wheeler and Dick DeVere.
And coriander, just Cori.
Well, you didn't tell us if you had any alternate names that, you know, your parents were almost went
As
with.
far as I know, they didn't.
They were just like, this is the one.
Yeah. My mom was hopped up on painkillers and hallucinating, and it just all fell into place.
Perfect. Sounds like a good night.
Sounds like something you could bring up on Only Connect.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for watching. We really appreciate it. Stay tuned next month for a fun special AskLRR. But until next time, I've been Kathleen. Wheeler's been Wheeler. Cori's been Cori. And, of course, Paul has been getting the questions up and running tech for us. Thank you, Paul. He says thank you.